Why do you think it was so easy to exterminate you people? Your weakness. I saw it. Every day I saw it. Every one of them thinking only of how to avoid being flogged or kicked or killed. Everyone thinking only of themselves. Why do you think it only took 4 soldiers to lead 1,000 people to the gas chambers? Because not one out of thousands had the courage to resist. Not one would sacrifice himself. Not even when we took their children away. So I knew then that you people had no right to live.
Last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television as I did.
Yeah.
To see those monkeys from those African countries. Damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The tail wags the dog. I, for example, just had a call from Reagan, California, and he's been out there and so forth, and as you can imagine, there's strong feeling that we just shouldn't. As he said, he saw these cannibals on television last night, and he said they weren't even wearing shoes, and he says here the United States is going to submit its fate to that, and so forth and so on, and but that's typical of a reaction.
Umbrella, she's up. Whole nother level of shit you can't even understand.
What is good, my people? We are live back again with another episode of The Forecast. Now, what we have to understand is, and there's no way around it, we have to be able to protect our children. If we can't protect the minds of our children, if we can't protect them from being harmed, you will never be free. Now, we look for every single excuse not to go after this system. We join in every kind of tribal division that we can have. But something I'm sure that we can all agree on, no matter where we come from, is we do not want our children to be harmed. But living in a system designed to destroy us is designed to make our children slaves from a baby. They see as nothing but property. That's why when we talk about our lives, they talk about politics. But protecting your children has to be the number one priority. And beyond just protecting them, putting them in a position where they could be successful in the future. But when your enemy knows that they can come in and harm your children and you won't do anything about it, they know they still got you in servitude. They know that they can do anything to you. They know that you are weak. And until your children's lives and their safety and their minds and their ability to be in a system of their own is the most important thing to you, then you aren't going to do something to change yourself. Because every single species protects their children, protects their young, and they do whatever they have to do to protect their young, right? You will see a bird fly after a dog to protect their babies. But don't ever make somebody think that there's something wrong with you for protecting you and yours. Because if anything that's American is self-defense, and that's the one thing we need to take from this nation. If anything. Because the one thing about a psychopath is they're going to push it all the way to the edge. They're going to push you to the end of your boundaries just to see if you're going to do anything about it. And when they see that you aren't going to do anything about it, they know that they got you. And they know that they can do anything to you. And you'll excuse it and make excuses for it. But we so quick to go fight for every other group. But it cannot be out of love, because you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. Because we're quick to go out here and say, stop Asian hate. But we're scared to say, stop black hate. When many of these groups feel the exact same way, because the system of white supremacy is global. And they don't got no problem co-signing that whole black inferiority myth. And that's what we have to realize. We have no friends. We are all we got. In Michigan, a 6-year-old little boy, Coby Daniel, ended up getting shot by this Asian dude Le-Nguyen or whatever, however you say his name, while this young brother was just playing outside with his friends. Now, let's go back and try to see how a 6-year-old ended up getting shot.
Just 3 days after this accused shooter shot a little boy, he walks free, making bond on Tuesday. It has this family angry and confused.
And I'm trying to figure out how he got a bond that was so low for trying to kill my kid.
Arnold Daniel trying to figure out why Ryan Le-Nguyen is out of jail after allegedly shooting his son Coby. It's all on video Saturday afternoon on Candlewood Lane. You'll see kids playing, hear a gunshot, then Coby realizes he's hit. Le-Nguyen allegedly fired through his front window. The bullet went in Coby's arm and out the other side.
He's bleeding! He got shot! Coby got shot! Coby got shot! Police!
Right now, he's not even processing exactly what happened. You know, he don't realize how close he came to not being here. But I realize it.
29-year-old Le-Nguyen is charged with assault with intent to murder. He's apparently had issues with neighbors in the past, and this time, Dad Arnold suspects Le-Nguyen was mad Coby's bike was in his yard.
I'm irate, really. I mean, I can't function, and I don't know what to do.
A Washtenaw County judge gave him a $10,000 cash bond, which he made Tuesday. This is him walking out, picked up by family. The prosecutor's office shocked at the low bond. They're filing an emergency motion to get it changed. A judge's order not to return home, but it's a piece of paper, says Arnold.
I'm scared for my family, you know, but I'm scared for them because I don't know what he's capable of.
Now, this young brother, this little kid, was just outside playing with his friends, riding their bikes on the sidewalk. Now, this Chinese dude mad at little kids, and that's the real definition of a hater. You know, somebody just mad at little kids playing outside. And this Japanese dude always gave them a hard time about their bikes. So when this little brother left his bike on the sidewalk in front of this Asian dude's house, I guess he got mad about it. So when the little brother went back to go get his bike, this 29-year-old Korean dude just started chasing these little kids around with a sledgehammer trying to hit them. Now, like the little brother Coby said, he was too quick and he couldn't catch him, and that wasn't gonna work. So then this Chinese dude decided to go in his house to go get a gun. And then he shot from inside his house through the window into a group of kids. Now, he decided to go get his gun because he couldn't catch him with a sledgehammer. So this Japanese dude decided that the best course of action is to shoot through his own window, and he ended up shooting his little brother, Coby Daniel, in the arm.
We're not opening the jailhouse doors to everybody. What we are saying is that your money is no longer going to determine your freedom.
Back in January, Washtenaw County prosecutor Ellie Savitt touted an overhaul to cash bail in the county, instructing prosecutors not to ask for cash bail in any crime, but instead recommend GPS tethers or other bond conditions. A judge ultimately decides, but Savitt said in January he's confident the judges in the county support his plan.
The reason the policy was 20 pages is because there's a lot of potential options on the table, and we want to balance public safety with allowing people a fair opportunity to get on with their lives.
6 months later, bail changes play out after 6-year-old Coby Daniel was shot in the arm, allegedly by an angry neighbor, Ryan Le-Nguyen, last weekend in Ypsilanti Township. It's all on video.
He tried to hit me with a sledgehammer, but that's not gonna work because I'm too fast.
So then what did he do?
Got a gun, boom, shot me right here.
Dad Arnold Daniel spent hours on the phone Tuesday with officials.
And I'm trying to figure out how he got a bond that was so low for trying to kill my kid.
29-year-old Ryan Le-Nguyen walked out of jail given a $10,000 cash bond by magistrate Alicia Fink. No tether, just an order to stay away from his house. Prosecutor Savage says they asked for $100,000 cash bond. Meanwhile,
I'm scared for my family, you know, but I'm scared for them because I don't know what he's capable of.
Wednesday, we asked Washtenaw County Sheriff Jerry Clayton about bail reform.
So I've been consistent since day one that from a philosophical standpoint, I agree with the premise on reform around bail, right? That your ability to pay or not to pay a dollar amount shouldn't be the determining factor of whether you stay incarcerated through the adjudication process.
There's a but, and that is Sheriff Clayton says a suspect's risk to the community should be the driving factor in bail decisions. He adds it's worth examining if this new reform is working.
And we owe it to the system and to the community we serve to evaluate whether we're getting those outcomes. And if we're not, then we need to be smart enough and courageous enough to say, this is not what we intended. Let's make our adjustments.
The prosecutor has filed an emergency motion to up the bond for Ryan Le-Nguyen. That'll be heard in front of a different judge on Thursday. The sheriff says he supports that motion.
Now, luckily, this young brother, Coby Daniel, wasn't killed, but the bullet just hit him in the arm and went through. But they are sending us clear messages about how they feel about us and our children. Now, this Chinese dude chased a group of kids with a sledgehammer, and then when he couldn't catch them, went in the house and got a gun and shot into a group of kids. And that bullet could have went in any direction, and that young brother could have easily been killed. Just that quick. And then a psychopath who would shoot into a group of children, they decide not even charged with attempted murder. They charged them with a couple of different kind of assault charges. And then this white woman judge set his bail at $10,000, meaning he only has to pay $1,000 to get out of jail after shooting a 6-year-old kid for riding his bike on the street. And while they got us out here yelling, "Stop Asian hate," you don't see anybody saying anything about this incident and how they let him get out of jail for $1,000.
All right, I'm going to set the bond at $10,000 cash or surety, no 10%. No contact with Coby Daniel. I don't want him to live at the Candlewood address. So can we have a different mailing address for him if we have one?
Mr. Nguyen, where do you want your mail to go?
Can I go to my father's address, which is 5709 Cary Drive, Ypsilanti, 48197.
Yes. Okay, and then Mr. Simon, do you want him to give me his email now, or do you want to do that later?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. What's your email address, Mr. Le-Nguyen?
My email address is le.ryan123@gmail.
Did you say the first two letters were M like Mary?
L as in Lima, and then E as in elephant.
.Ryan123. Okay. And is it all right with you if the court uses your email to contact you?
Yes.
Do you want to give me a phone number too?
Phone number is my phone number?
Yes.
Okay. It's 517-883-3795.
Okay. All right. So while you're on bond, so I set the bond at $10,000 cash or surety. While you're on bond, no contact with the alleged victim, Coby Daniel.
What led up to this? When the judge let him out on $10,000 bail, what was the argument to support that? Because it just seems so crazy for people who are just kind of casually observing this.
Because it seems like it's an attempted murder case.
Right.
Right. And, let me be clear on this. We, given what happened, we have charged the defendant in this case with the most serious charges that are available on these facts. Those felony charges carry a sentence of up to life in prison, which is the most serious penalty that we have in Michigan. Now, as to the initial bond decision by the magistrate, I'm not going to purport to speak for any other actor in the legal system, except to say that, our recommendation initially was for a bond that was 10 times higher, was for additional restrictions to be put into place. And we made use of our legal avenues when we disagree with a judge's decision. We filed an emergency motion as soon as we got that decision with the court, which I argued today, and thankfully the bond was modified and the defendant is in custody as we speak.
How did you turn that around in court today? What argument did you make that won the day?
I just emphasized what the facts of this case show. This is a man who shot out of his window at a group of children playing on the sidewalk in front of his house. It hit a 6-year-old child. We are really, really thankful, and this is by far the most important thing, that little boy is not more seriously hurt. He's doing okay, although, look, the trauma is going to, of course, stick with him for his entire life. But a couple of inches to the left or to the right, he could have been killed. I just emphasized that and emphasized the public safety risk, and we're grateful that the court saw fit first to act quickly on this and to schedule our emergency hearing on an expedited basis, and then ultimately to grant our motion and to have the defendant remanded into custody.
Now, this lawyer said they charged him with the most serious crimes based off the facts that they had. Now, they had the fact that it was an attempted murder, but they didn't charge him with that. They charged him with some kind of assault with murder included, but it wasn't attempted murder. And this white woman judge said, all you have to do is just stay away from this kid who he should have never been around in the first place. Anytime a psychopath will chase a group of kids with a sledgehammer and will go get his gun because he can't catch them, that's a psychopath. And then he claims self-defense. And then after outcry, they had to go back and raise his bail. Now, again, he still does have a bail, and we know how quickly they do these fundraisers for anti-black causes and how quickly they raise money, right? But they now raise his bail to $100,000. And they are blatantly showing you how they feel, because just a few weeks ago, around the same time, when a little 6-year-old white boy got killed in a road rage incident, they spared no expense to catch the person who did it, right? They offered a $500,000 reward just for information, and they quickly demanded that he get life in prison. There was no waiting for the evidence, waiting for the facts. They had no problem holding that dude in jail without bail, period. But this psychopath gets a bail where he only really has to pay $1,000. And just because of outcry, they raised his bail to $100,000. But when this white 6-year-old was shot and killed, they were quick to take action. They charged these people to the fullest extent. They even gave the woman who was with the dude a higher bail of $500,000 just for aiding him, just because she didn't turn him in. And they set her bail at $500,000. But this dude shoot into a group of kids and his bail is $100,000 after outcry at that. Now you tell me what the difference is. They're both 6-year-old little boys who were shot. Why is one taken more seriously than the other? But until we stop getting on everybody else bandwagon, talking about stop Asian hate and black and whoever other group, until we start standing up for ourselves and taking justice and making sure that anybody who harm our children, our elders, our brothers, our sisters, anybody who harms any of us be punished, then they're going to keep doing the same thing. They know we are easy targets, and people have no problem going after easy targets. That's what they want to do. Until we realize we are all we got and we start getting on code and doing what we're supposed to do, then the same thing will keep happening over and over.
What's the weird food that your family ate growing up that you didn't realize was really weird?
Okay, my family might take this one. Everybody in my family eats this, including my grandmother, my aunts, cousins, sisters, mom. A little salt. I'm using onion salt, but you can use whatever. And a little bit of ground beef. My husband has to hide the ground beef when he makes hamburgers because it grosses them out. It's disgusting, I know. But it tastes good and I probably have worms.
Turn it off.
This is a really disturbing trend I'm seeing where white women will show how good they are at faking tears, and I think it's such a dangerous tool, you know? Like, I've had a lot of white women just say really maybe unintentionally transphobic things at me, and it sets off this gender dysphoria, and I try to talk to them about it. I try to talk to other people, and they just cry, and and everyone just believes them because they want to protect the white women, you know, and this is horrible, and I just really want them to know that I can probably do this better than they can. So, you know, knock it off. Don't make me use this. People are more protective of me than even you. I'm a triple minority. I will have you canceled in 5 seconds.
Here again. The other day I was walking down the hallway at Lakeview Elementary School to give a teacher a retiring gift. I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster. In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I was told 2 weeks ago at this very meeting spot, no politics in school. I believed what you said at this meeting. So at lunch, I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. He said it's not coming down. I was like, yeah, it is, because the school board said on May 25th, no BLM or politics in school. He said, that's weird. They were the ones who made them. I was stunned. When I was here 2 weeks ago, you told us to report any BLM in our schools. Apparently, you know they're in our schools because you made the signs. I said there should be no BLM in schools, period. It does not matter the color you make the posters and the font you use. We all understand the meaning. It is a political message about getting rid of police officers, rioting, burning buildings down while King Governor Welch just sits on his throne and watches. We all know. Changing the font or the color of posters does not change the meaning. I am 9 years old and I know that. You expect me to believe that you did not know what you were doing by making these posters? Come on, people. I do not judge people by the color of their skin. I don't really care what color their hair, skin, or eyes is. I judge by the content or the way they treat me. MLK said, I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That dream has come true. I do not care or look at the color of skin, but you make me think of it. I have Asian, Mexican, white, Chinese, black friends, and I don't care. I like them because some of them make me laugh, some are sweet and kind, sporty, or share the love of God. They are just my friends. You have lied to me, and I am very disappointed in all of you. You cannot even follow your own rules. If you're going to do that, why do we follow any rules we deemed unfit or ridiculous? I'm not following your mask rule anymore then. Get the posters out of our schools. Courage is contagious, so be courageous.
You're intoxicated. You should probably go back over there and sit down.
Intoxicated?
And you're disturbing the peace to everybody.
Here's what I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, you might want to back up.
Here's the fuck. I don't give a fuck about you or your child.
Just stay over there, Kinley.
So go ahead and tell your friend to stay here. But the reality of it
You're gonna go to jail today. Yeah.
I ain't going to jail for you or your nigger. What did you just say? That's exactly what the fuck I said. That's exactly what the fuck I said. Hey. Stop. Who the fuck you talking to like that? I'm gonna tell you. There's a child over here. A child. A child. Why the fuck do you have a little kid? This is a restaurant.
Does anybody know who this woman is?
No. I'm not gonna let this bitch or anybody else fucking tell me what's right. I'm a motherfucking grandma. Get off me. No. Here's the thing. Walk away. I know more than that bitch. I know more than that bitch. And I know more than that bitch. Okay. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm a grandma. I don't give a fuck about you or your grandma.
You're gonna go to jail. That's fine.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah, you know what the fuck this is? Hey, let me tell you what the fuck this is, bitch.
Hey, you're about to go to jail. Here's your ride. Here's your ride.
Jail, bitch.
Here's your ride.
Right up here of your fucking crotch.
Say hi. Say hi.
This is the trouble.
Yeah, I know.
Here they come. Here they come for you.
I don't give a fuck. Here's the thing. It's your
Come get her.
shit, baby.
And you were saying the N word. I got it all on video. You're about to go viral too. You're about to go viral. We're gonna find. That's fine. I got her on video threatening everybody. You're about to go viral.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna let this dirty little bitch tell me what I can
Yup.
and can't.
Yup. Bye. 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 Have fun. Bye.
Ignorant, gnobly motherfucking bitch is what you are.
Please leave.
Oh, I'm leaving.
Please leave. I mean,
You're gonna be leaving soon too. I promise you that, you fucking no good bitch.
Okay, that's fine.
You guys want to
Bye. Have a
call
good day.
racism? Bitch, you're more racist than the fucking white person ever is.
Okay.
Fuck you, you fucking black bitch.
Okay, that doesn't bother me.
Fuck you.
Okay, have a good day.
Don't dance around on your porch like a fucking monkey, whore.
Get out.
Does they know what's gonna happen?
Hello? Hello? Can you come out for a minute?
What'd you say?
Can you answer your door?
I don't know what you saying. What are you saying?
Can you answer your door?
Do you need help with something?
Can you answer your door, babe?
No, it's a pandemic right now.
Oh, well, I am really offended that you yelled at my kids for being in your fucking yard. I don't appreciate that.
Hold on.
You are a fucking moron.
Hold on, because nobody, I haven't even been outside to see your kids. But hold on, 1 second. Let me get a mask on, and I'll be there.
Answer the door.
Hold on. No, stay in there. Give me a second. No, I'm gonna do it. Babe, give me a mask. Go. I haven't even seen that kid. Give me 1 second. I'll be at the door. Let me put on my mask.
Come on, girl. Open the door. You yell at kids for playing in your fucking yard.
Are you kidding me? I never even talked to your kids. I haven't even been outside because it's a pandemic. But you're so confident. You feel so empowered. Your kid is telling a blatant lie. But give me a second.
That bitch. Mommy, open the goddamn door.
Hold on. Yeah. Give me that. Give me that.
Digger.
Oh, you heard what she did? Oh, you felt so empowered.
Sorry, you're not gonna eat today because they're pressed. This is what we're doing. This is what they're doing. They want all the smoke. Exactly. I will get your ass from in front of the damn car. Excuse me. Get your ass out in front of my car.
get your ass out the damn way. Please lose your job over this. Please lose your job over this. Please. Because I will get my ass out the goddamn car and get the fuck out of my way now. Yo, dumb ass, get out of the goddamn way. This lady right here.
She cut me off to get to the takeout for the
Are you drunk?
Burger King.
Because you can't even get your words together.
And almost hit me when I was trying to get in.
I almost hit you.
And cut in front of me. And I don't usually get upset, but this is...
Y'all, look how close I am. This is almost hitting them. This is almost hitting them. I am not the one to play with.
I'm my own car. I'm outside my car.
Exactly. This is a Karen. This is a Karen. This is a Karen and a Ken. A Karen and a Ken. Yes, please. Come on, cops. Come on down here, please. And she's slurring her words, so I really hope she wasn't driving. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? Please tell me what the point is.
I realize that.
You realize what? Because they're probably telling you how stupid you look.
You're in Mercedes.
You need to get your damn wife, if that's who she is, and tell her to get her stupid ass in the goddamn car so I can get my onion rings. I am not the one to play with.
No, I'm outside of my car.
Go ahead and lose your job over this. Please do. Please do. If you even... Oh, you don't have a job. Got it. Got it. Here they go. Please get these assholes out the damn way.
No, because she cut me off and then that'll be it.
Oh, and he blacks. Yes, God.
I think the police is here. Yeah, he's here.
You see how petty this is?
I can move now.
You see how petty this is? So they came in the parking lot, made an illegal U-turn. Meanwhile, we were coming in off Colonial and coming into the drive-thru, right? I guess she decided to be upset and started blowing the horn, and I'm still pulling in. And she got out her car and then blocked me so I can't go further because there was a car ordering. So then she stood in front of the car and is like, I'm not moving. So that's where we are. And this is what this is.
Nobody hitting each other?
No. No. Silly. Petty, immature, childish. Lord, y'all, 3 cop cars. Y'all think I'm lying? It's literally 3 cop cars. Hold on. 1, 2... And then the one that's over there talking to... Oh, no, they're all right here. 3 cop cars. Over a goddamn Whopper.
This mail carrier was on a break, and he's getting hassled by a homeowner who just wants her mail.
Can I get my mail? You've been sitting here for 30 minutes.
When she wants her mail, but it's your lunch break, he complains. His TikTok video went viral, with thousands cheering on the mailman and others labeling the woman a Karen. Why can't she just wait? Karen, go home. Others blasted the mailman. No wonder packages are always late. Millions of people shared the TikTok video thinking it was real, but it wasn't. It was a gag that quickly backfired.
I am not a Karen. This is one of my dear friends.
She's no Karen.
She is not a Karen.
It turns out Michelle Hausman and Devin Jones have known each other for years. You consider each other friends?
Most definitely. She feeds me every day.
Besides making him lunch, Michelle often shoots Devin's TikTok videos. After the backlash, the Los Angeles mailman posted this new video of the pair hugging to the song Reunited. But even that didn't quell the storm.
I didn't like the backlash she was getting, so we did a video to say, hey, we made peace. But that wasn't enough. Now I'm doing that to save my job, or she's doing it to save her job.
Devin says the gag was meant to show people in a humorous way that even mailmen need lunch breaks. Now they want everyone to know he's not rude and she's no Karen.
The Volusia County Sheriff says in 34 years of policing, he has never seen anything like this. In an edited 9-minute clip, we see deputies trying to calm down those 12 and 14-year-old kids before they fire at deputies with an AK-47 and a shotgun. We'd like to warn you, these images are disturbing.
Shots fired. Everybody get hard cover.
This jaw-dropping scene starts with Florida deputies taking cover behind a tree.
It's either a shotgun or a long gun. Female has it in her hand.
Juvenile male looks like he has something in his hand as well.
And it quickly escalated.
Put the gun down now!
She's pointing the gun. Pointing the gun behind the trash can.
The stunning 90-minute sequence released as an edited 9-minute video by the Volusia County Sheriff's Department.
Where have we gone wrong that 12-year-old and 14-year-old think it's okay to take on law enforcement?
The deputies responding to a 911 call from a nearby group home which reported the kids had run away. Authorities say the kids then broke into a nearby home where they found hundreds of rounds of ammunition, a handgun, a shotgun, and according to the homeowner, an unassembled AK-47.
The weapon was disassembled. They assembled it and fired it.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood says deputies spent 45 minutes trying to contact the children before the gunfire started.
Don't make me do this. Don't do this.
Police say the kids fired several times from a patio window, with the boy telling investigators the 14-year-old girl likened the shooting to the video game Grand Theft Auto. But when they challenged deputies outside, law enforcement says they were forced to fire, striking the girl around 7 times.
Get up on her, get up on her. Gray, you get that rifle?
Before rushing to save her life. This video blurred by the department.
They did everything they could to prevent either of these kids from getting injured.
I am so proud of what they did. They did everything humanly possible and above and beyond.
At one point, one of the deputies tossed his personal cell phone through a broken window, risking his life in the process, trying to contact the kids, but the sheriff said they refused to talk with them. And raising the stakes here, guys, is the 12-year-old is also diabetic, meaning he needed his insulin to survive. He is unharmed this morning.
It's just something we don't and won't talk about. We are very ashamed of it, says Bando, this black woman. So she says, we are very ashamed of it. So see, God's people don't walk around feeling shameful. God's people are walking around filled with glory and long hair. See? But if a woman has long hair, it's a glory to her. But yet this black woman says, all the black women feel, shameful because they're bald. And I, as a woman, can understand, because that's part of your beauty. It's part of, just natural women, having long hair. It's feminine. But without hair, you're just bald, nappy-headed, crusty head, walking around with your shame. Your shame will follow you everywhere you go. No matter how much money you try to buy, to buy wigs. But before I go further, let me read to you this verse that God himself did that to you. God Almighty, my husband, did that to you. Let me read to you what the Lord God says. Because remember, there's a lot of these, you will know a man by his fruits. There's all these black women claiming to be the bride of Christ, and many church people out there claiming Jesus was black. But to their shame follows them everywhere. You'll know a man by his fruits. Look at Africa, and now all the African women are bald-headed. And this is what God says about that. The Lord says, the women of Zion are haughty, walking around with outstretched necks. You know how they're always like this with the attitude, like haughtiness, okay? The women of Zion are haughty, walking along with outstretched necks, flirting with their eyes, strutting along with swaying hips, all that twerking, with ornaments jingling on their ankles. Therefore, the Lord will bring sores on the heads of the women of Zion. The Lord will make their scalps.
All the ice in there. Then you have your sherbet here.
Yeah, do it.
Just pop that in. There
Wow.
we go. Maybe one more. One more of these. Yes. Oh, this is going to be so good.
That looks great.
It's going to be amazing, okay? You want all your sour candies in there.
Perfect.
Really mush it around.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's great.
And
Yep.
then this. Oh, you already emptied this
Yeah,
part.
I emptied
Great.
that part.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's do it.
So some of these in here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And some more sour candies.
Oh, so these are all, they just want to be sour stuff.
Yeah, so then you're going to grab your punch.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you're just going to start loading up this tank back here. Obviously, Sprite. Yeah. You want to get your Sprite in there. Then the Fanta.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's so colorful. It's so nice. It's really nice. And then when you flush, watch what happens when you flush. Okay?
Oh, well, everything from the tank is going to go through into the
Yep.
sherbet and the ice?
Yep. Okay, so one more of these. I got orange. You just want to make sure you fill that nice and full. So here we go. We can place this.
Okay.
Now watch this, okay? So we have all of that in there. That looks pretty good.
That does look good.
Yeah, that looks really good. I'm gonna get the cups ready. Mix that all around. Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
Wow.
I'm gonna have one of these. Oh yeah. So you mix it up a little bit, and then when you
flush, and then we get to scoop it out. Okay.
Well, let's. I want to make sure it's nice and mixed. Okay.
Okay.
Really mix it in there. It's gonna be great.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. I think people are gonna like this.
Yeah, they're gonna love it.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm gonna flush it.
Should we take off the lid so we can see?
Yeah. Are you good?
Yeah, let's do it. I want to see it.
Do it. This, it could overflow, so we're not really sure. Oh, here we go.
Wow. So it starts. Oh, look, it is. It's filling up.
Wow.
It's filling up.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow. That's incredible.
Okay. So now it's all mixed in. That's great. You can go ahead and just get that in there. Get some ice in the punch.
Oh, nice. Got the punch here. One for you.
All right, and we back on the forecast. Now, we have to remember, we are living in a country that based their principles off self-defense, off of freedom. Yet, when we talk about self-defense and freedom, it is an act of terror according to them. But you can't be afraid to study your enemy and how they move. We are so quick to want to be a part of the system and to assimilate into the society. We'll be so quick to throw away who we are, our identity, the identity that they try to take away from us. But watch how your enemy does it. When they see something they perceive as a threat, all of a sudden that violence, that anti-violence, all of that stuff goes out of the window, and they'll do whatever they have to do to maintain the position that they are in and to exercise that superiority complex that they have in their mind. And the only way that they can do that is to keep you in an inferior position, a subservient position, a position of servitude perpetually. In Florida, a brother, Rocky Randolph Jr., ended up getting shot by Seminole County cop Aaron Blais. Now, let's go back and see how this brother ended up getting shot by the police.
First thing in the morning. All right. Can you do me a favor and just shut the car off for me?
What happened, sir?
Huh? Well, I smell marijuana, and you don't have a card. So I'm not. Listen. I'm not concerned with some personal use stuff, man. It doesn't even warrant my time.
Black and white. I'm smoking a black and white every truck.
Would you mind shutting the car off, please? Huh?
I'm smoking a black and white.
I understand. Just shut the car off for me, please. Okay? All right. 2513 Seminole. Step them up, please. It's no big deal. I mean, I'm not.
You gonna
like
take me from a glassing to marijuana, bro?
Listen. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I'm telling you right now. Stop! Put it in park. Put your hands up. Put your freaking hands up. Seminole, you're just trying to take off with me. Step them up now.
Do nothing, please.
Sir, I'm telling you. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. I swear to God. Put your hands up. You put it in park. Sir.
Accused of dragging a deputy is expected in Seminole County Court.
Yeah, the deputy's body and dash cameras rolling through this whole thing. It is very dramatic video.
Stop! Put it in park!
You're hearing Seminole County Deputy Aaron Blais eventually firing shots at Rocky Rudolph after Rudolph put that car in drive while the deputy was hanging out the window. And Sydney Cameron is live at the Seminole County Jail. And Sydney, it's dramatic video, and this could have been so much worse Saturday morning.
it could have been. And can you just imagine? Deputies say this all started as a simple traffic stop for dark window tints, but it quickly turned into a fight for survival for that deputy. The suspect just booked into jail yesterday on an attempted murder charge. If you haven't seen that video, stop what you're doing right now and take another look at it.
Stop! 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 Put it in park! Put your hands up!
This body camera video showing a Seminole County deputy being dragged by a car going at least 40 miles per hour for several hundred feet.
He's thrown from this video into the median just feet before merging onto Interstate 4. If he would have been thrown on the interstate, you can only imagine what would have happened.
Sheriff Dennis Lima says the suspect, 38-year-old Rocky Rudolph, got aggressive when the deputy smelled marijuana in the car and started asking questions. The sheriff says that's when the suspect ignored commands to show his hands and drove off with the deputy hanging onto the window trying to stop him. The deputy shooting Rudolph in the leg after Rudolph reached for the deputy's gun. Rudolph eventually taking off running. He was caught 8 hours later in Longwood in a car with his 20-year-old daughter. Sheriff Lima saying he's proud of his deputy's actions.
It's because of heroes like that that we can tuck our children in bed at night and feel comfortable in our communities.
The deputy is recovering at home this morning.
Now, I didn't play the whole video. It's 9 minutes, but you should definitely go watch it yourself. But it all started because this cop said he pulled him over because his tints were too dark. Now, you could tell that he was just looking for a reason to mess with his brother, because during the stop, he mentioned that he saw him earlier at the store, and then how he followed him for a while before he pulled him over, talking about, oh, well, I wanted to get to a better area. Now, you could tell this cop is full of it, laughing and joking about his name. It's all smiles and Hallmark cards, acting like he's so cool. But believe me, these people lied to you, and don't think twice about it. And never think they're here to protect you. They're here to protect the system. But during the traffic stop, while he laughing and joking, acting like he's so cool, he admit he stopped him just because tints are a pet peeve of his. So he probably has a bias against people who have tints on their windows. And he probably meant to say, yeah, I have a pet peeve about black men riding around with tints so I can't see what they're doing. But during the whole time, this brother stayed cool, gave him his license. Everything looked kind of cordial. Even though you could tell this brother is already on edge because we know how these slave catchers get. So once he gave him his license, then this cop started pressing him about his insurance card. Now, I never really had a cop press me that hard about an insurance card, and they could easily look it up. But he even told his brother to pull it up on his phone, so he did, and showed he had proof of insurance, and everything was legit. Now, after this brother did everything this cop asked for, all of a sudden, this cop switched up from laughing and joking and started talking about, I smell a hint of marijuana. Now, this brother didn't even have weed in his car. I'm not sure if he smokes or not. But you can tell that cop was full of it. He was standing there for 8 minutes, never said anything about it. And once he saw this brother was legit, then he started talking about he smelled weed. And that's one of the tactics they use all the time to violate your rights, because they can just say, I smell weed, whether you have it or not. They can just say, I smell it, and that gives them the right to search your car. And if you say no, now you're resisting, and that's 2 charges. But after this cop was acting so cool, and then just switch up talking about he smelled weed, then he escalated the situation in seconds. This cop pulled his gun, put it in his face, and just started yelling at this brother. Now, clearly, this brother feared for his life, thinking he was just going to be the next hashtag. So, in fear of his life, this brother pulled off so he wouldn't get shot. Now, this cop jumped and grabbed on his car. He wasn't dragged. And eventually, he fell off, not was thrown off. But this brother took off and got away. Now, eventually, 8 hours later, they found him and arrested him. But you already know they got to punish this brother for not staying in his place and catering to that superiority complex that they have.
I'm telling you right now, stop! Stop!
Just into our newsroom tonight, the video from today's hair-raising traffic stop. A deputy taken for a ride right there onto I-4, tumbling off on the left as that car speeds away. The deputy you heard screams at that driver to stop over and over again while the driver tries to grab his gun. Good evening to you. I'm Eric Von Anken. This is Wild Video, and it set off an all-day manhunt in Seminole County. Only News 6 was there when the driver was captured. News 6's Clay Lepard is live now where it all ended on Lake Mary Boulevard right at I-4. And Clay, the sheriff says that this guy tried to kill his deputy not once but twice.
And Eric, we're told that deputy is doing okay. He's already been released from the hospital. This 7-hour manhunt all stemmed from a traffic stop right here at the on-ramp on I-4 because a car's windows were tinted too dark.
Howdy!
A routine traffic stop on a Saturday morning became anything but.
This was a very, very dangerous situation.
This is the registration right here.
Body camera video shows Seminole County Deputy Aaron Blais talking to 38-year-old Rocky Money Rudolph Jr. We're told a smell of marijuana prompted Deputy Blais to ask Rudolph to turn off his car.
Can you do me a favor and just shut the car off for me?
That's when everything escalated.
Stop! Put it in park!
On 2 occasions, Deputy Blais is seen being dragged by Rudolph in his Cadillac Escalade, picking up speed at this on-ramp and moving closer to I-4. The sheriff says Deputy Blais even fired several shots into the Escalade as he was held by Rudolph before breaking away and rolling into the median.
If he would have been thrown on the interstate, you can only imagine what would have happened.
Deputies say Rudolph quickly lost control of his car and ran away. More than 7 hours after the manhunt began,
we were searching everywhere.
Rocky Rudolph was captured at around 5 p.m. He's the one on the ground here on Lake Mary Boulevard. After he was spotted getting into this sedan, which we're told was believed to be driven by his daughter. Rudolph was eventually taken to the hospital because of a gunshot wound during that initial traffic stop.
This guy needs to go to jail for a very long time.
Deputies expect Rudolph to be charged with attempted murder on an officer and aggravated assault.
This is a bad dude who almost killed one of our deputy sheriffs on the side of the road.
And after watching that body camera video, we want to remind everyone Deputy Blais is doing well. He's already been released from the hospital. And as for Rudolph, he is expected to face a judge once he is released from the hospital after that gunshot wound in the leg.
Now, I don't blame them for staying on code and doing whatever they got to do to protect their system. But I'm showing you to see how they respond when something happens to one of them. There is no wait and see. They have no problem labeling that person. They don't have to say not all this and not all that. They can say this person needs to be punished. This person was a bad person. And they have no problem doing it. Now, they don't care if the cop was the one escalating it, talking about weed that didn't even exist. Forget that all of this started from this psychopath cop lying and looking for a reason to mess with this brother. Forget about this cop was just laughing and joking with this brother about his name to yelling and pulling a gun on him, pointed at his head. And even though a little kid being shot is not considered attempted murder to them, this brother reacting in fear to a cop pulling a gun on him is considered attempted murder to them. Because they can clearly understand, they can clearly charge. They don't have to wait for facts. They know what they have to do. If it's you especially that hurts one of them, they will spare no expense to punish you for it. And it don't matter if they escalated or started the situation in the first place. So you have to start taking notes from them. Look at what somebody does, not what they say. Because you see with them, they start talking about had he fell on the highway, who knows what would have happened. But when it comes to a 6-year-old being shot, there is no had the bullet been to the left or right a little bit, the person would have died. The kid would have died. There is no what ifs. They can only go by the facts that they have. But when it's them, they can suddenly understand. But that goes to show you that it's on purpose. They know if somebody has to be punished for harming them or they'll be at risk at getting harmed again, They know that not punishing somebody for harming you puts you at risk at it happening again. And even though in reality, all this brother really did was try to get away from a lying psychopath who had a gun pointed at his head, to them, that's enough to charge him with attempted murder.
Push your hands up. You put it in park.
Well, it's hard to forget this video. In fact, it's really hard to watch it. Seminole County Deputy Aaron Blais dragged by a suspect during a traffic stop. Officials later caught Rocky Rudolph Jr. A judge has denied him bail. This happened yesterday in court. Rudolph facing multiple charges, including attempted murder of a law enforcement officer. And this morning, we're joined by Seminole County Sheriff Dennis Lima to brief us on what happened Saturday and how the deputy's doing now. Great to see you. Thank you for being here this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Deputy Blais is doing well considering. He has a concussion. But his situation was very dangerous, and I guess it gives the public a reflection of how dangerous this is of an occupation, and that no traffic stop is ever routine.
You know, we watched the most dramatic part of that video, which is extremely hard to watch. What we didn't show was how calm, cool, and collected this deputy was in the beginning of this traffic stop. It started as a very minor violation, right, for tinted windows.
I tell you, Deputy Blais embraced community policing to its fullest. And if you haven't seen the 9-minute video, I really encourage you to watch the entire thing. I mean, he is building rapport and a relationship, and even minimizes a violation of law if he says, hey, if you got small amounts of cannabis or marijuana, that's not a big deal. People have to remember that it's our job to enforce the laws that we as society create. And this is a very, very bad guy. 32 felony arrests, 18 misdemeanor arrests, 15 felony convictions, 8 misdemeanor convictions. He goes to prison, and he's got 2 guns. He throws a gun in the bushes when he runs away, and he's got another stolen gun that's found inside the car. I mean, you look at this guy's record, and this is only what we know about. There's no telling how much he's done in our community that we don't know about. If Deputy Blais was dragged onto I-4, there's no question that this would have been a completely different turnout.
Why does this happen? When you see stories like this, I mean, you guys are on the enforcement side of things,
right.
But when you see the judicial system working in this way, where somebody with 15 convictions, you brought up all the other arrests that weren't convicted, is still out running the streets, does it make you angry?
It makes me extremely angry. This guy has a violent past. I mean, he was on trial for a homicide. I mean, he has a long history of running from police. And I can't say it enough. When law enforcement encourages you or orders you to put your hands in the air and stop resisting, a little clue, don't try to grab the cop's gun. You're going to get yourself killed if you do that. And this is a prime example. You watch this video, you watch the tape, Rudolph grabs for the gun, and you know what? He's lucky that he's alive right now.
He was shot in the leg, which
Yeah.
was very minor compared to what could have happened. Talk to me about the presence that was out there on Saturday. A lot of folks drove by and saw that you guys had people in from all different jurisdictions. What did it take to get this guy back in custody?
So this is an 8-hour manhunt. Every single law enforcement officer that was ready and available and willing to respond, SWAT teams, aviation, canine units from surrounding jurisdictions, every city agency in Seminole County was out there. And you know what? This cost the taxpayers a ton of money for a career criminal like this that's out there resisting a deputy sheriff's efforts to do what we task him to do as a society. He's a hero, and I will tell you what, there's many other like him that are walking that thin blue line every single day, protecting our domestic and international freedom, and there's heroes out there doing that job day in and day out. I'm just blessed that our community comes and rallies support and supports our first responders, our military, our firefighters, and our police.
We're so grateful the deputy's going to be okay. Do you have an estimate on when he might be able to go back to work?
I tell you, he's a hard charger. He's ready to go right now. So we're gonna make sure that we get a few things, and we're gonna get him back out there. This was his 4th traffic stop of that morning, and I think it's important. And when the majority of us are enjoying our second cup of coffee, he's out there enforcing our streets and making sure that we're safe. And I could not be prouder of what he and many other like him do on a daily basis. And this guy should go to jail for a very long time for trying to kill one of our deputies.
Now, you see, when they want to punish or send a message to somebody, they know exactly what to do and how to do it. They don't hold back their words. They don't wait for the story. They don't wait for the facts. When it's one of us, they're going to bring up something we did in the 3rd grade. And it doesn't matter our history. It doesn't matter their history. And it doesn't matter if it had anything to do with the case. They're going to find it and try to bring it up to use it against you. And that's how they use the media to paint this image of us. And now you see, they don't have a problem denying this brother bail. And even though medical marijuana is legal in Florida, this brother didn't have it. But they used that as the reason for all of this. And then they call this psychopath a hero. And there's no telling how many people he profiled, how many people he used that BS marijuana lie on. It's no telling how many people's rights he violated. And they're calling him a hero. And they're trying to bring up this brother's past. Even stuff that he was found innocent. But the point is, look how they respond to what they perceive as a threat. So never feel bad about protecting your children, about protecting our elderly, our women, our brothers. We have to start responding with more urgency than they do to get out of the position that we are in. Because they are going to respond with urgency to stay in this position. We have to realize that we are all we got and we have to stay on code. And instead of coming at each other, hurting each other, we need to start focusing on ourselves, building our community so that we can protect each other. Because if we don't, we'll continue to be easy targets and this same stuff will keep happening over and over.
But it's such a weird posture to take. Many thousands of Americans die every year from violent crime. If many thousands were dying from pharmaceuticals or eating certain kinds of vegetables, you would ask yourself, like, what kinds of vegetables? What pharmaceuticals? Like, what's killing these people? You would want to know all the detail that you could. And you would hire someone like you to assemble the numbers so you could make rational decisions about how to mitigate the harm, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So why wouldn't you be honest about crime if you wanted to prevent it?
If you say that for whatever reasons, the violent crime rate among blacks is 10 times that what it is among whites, people don't want to talk about the immediate consequences for that situation. They want to talk about, well, how can we fix it? Which I sympathize with, but how do we fix it is a separate question from what do we do right now in order to deal with the situation which faces us. So the same thing goes with differences in IQ. I understand the impulse to say, we've got to figure out a way to fix this, but what I'm trying to say in the book is, that's fine. Go ahead and devote attention to that. You must also recognize the reality of what is right now on the ground and understand that certain kinds of outcomes exist that are not explained by racism, let alone systemic racism. They are explained by differences that exist for whatever reasons between different ethnic groups. And by the way, we mentioned blacks and whites only, have not mentioned Latinos, have not mentioned Asians, but in those cases too, you have very different groups of people for whatever reasons. And we ought to start talking about that stuff because the unwillingness to face that is pushing us to the brink of disaster.
Don't try to fucking go too far and start something, right? Right? You want to see my back kick right now?
Call the cops.
Let's go.
Call the cops? Yeah, call the cops right now.
That's what I'm tired of. You guys think, you guys black people, you guys think you guys are so fucking strong.
Yeah.
You guys think you're so fucking strong and everything. Right? Come on, make a move, dude. Come on. Come on. Come on. What?
Excuse me.
What?
Excuse me.
Hey, get me out of here. You've been drinking. You need to go. Police. The
Walmart line. Yeah.
Pokemon Snap just came out. I was trying to get Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap. Yeah, that's what we're here for too.
Please Step out of the vehicle.
And then what? And then what?
And then we will discuss this like grown men. We don't need this.
Well, how's I'm getting off if you blocking me? How we getting off?
Please step out of the car.
Keep recording. All right.
All right.
Just told me to step out of the car. Don't touch me. You gonna make it a big deal. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I think that's you. I'm not, you're not touching me. Hey, man. You're not touching me. Hey, man. Don't touch me. 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 Don't touch me.
And she filed the complaint because Felicia Beard says she couldn't take the hostile work environment anymore, but she never expected to lose her job the way she did.
Uncomfortable, nervous. I'm already frightened to go to work. I was already intimidated.
Felicia Beard has worked for the River Rouge Police Department for 17 years, but the 911 dispatcher says the racism, harassment, and inappropriate behavior by officers eventually became unbearable.
This officer would disrespect me, would swear at me, and it really got next to me when he called me ancient mama. That's a racial remark.
Felicia claims she reported many incidents to her director, but when nothing was done, she started documenting how she was being treated. Her breaking point? When an officer pointed a taser at her and said they should use her for target practice.
I asked him, was he crazy? And so as I sit down at my desk, I see a beam go across my back, right? And I could see it was a green beam, so I turned and looked, and there he was with a taser. And
was he pointing a taser at you?
Yeah, he pointed at me.
Felicia filed a complaint with her union and couldn't believe what happened next.
The same day I made the complaint, about 3 hours later, I come home, and there's a letter in my mailbox, and it said, "You are terminated immediately."
Her attorney, Michael Fortner, plans to file a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the River Rouge Police Department. Multiple civil rights organizations are also asking the feds to investigate the police department and the mayor's office regarding policies and practices that they claim have led to racial profiling and mistreatment of black motorists and prisoners.
They've got a serious problem out there in River Rouge. People in River Rouge have a serious problem. Nobody can be safe with officers like this.
You want to get everybody justice who's going through anything similar, because if you just want to go to your job and go to work, you should be able to do that without having retaliation for complaining. And this woman is traumatized.
So traumatized, after the press conference, the longtime River Rouge employee broke down in tears. Her husband consoling her, assuring Felicia it would be okay.
Be all right. Hold yourself up. It'll be all right. We're not tolerating it. We're not accepting it. Period.
Now looking for a response to the upcoming lawsuit, I called the city attorney, David Bauer. He said he didn't see anything about it yet, but answered, "We did everything properly. It's a disgruntled employee and they can't comment." I asked, how can you comment like that if you don't know anything about this? He said he was trying to be nice, but when he knows more, he'll have more of a comment. Monica?
Well, these are serious allegations. It sounds like there's a lot more to this, and who knows how long this has actually been going on. She's a longtime employee.
And during the press conference, they discussed it really is a systemic problem, they say, from the mayor on down, a lot of conflict of interest with who's in charge and how they were appointed. So that's why they want the federal investigation to happen so they can really get to the bottom of this and make it potentially a better work environment.
The new Agriculture Secretary, Tom Vilsack, is also the previous Ag Secretary under President Obama. And when he left office, he said that discrimination had been taken care of by the agency, but it hadn't.
No.
How do you feel about him running the agency now as it tries to right these wrongs?
Well, when I endorsed now President Biden last February, we spoke in depth and length about bringing new blood and fresh faces to the United States Department of Agriculture. So I and others were a bit disappointed that Secretary Vilsack was coming back for a second tenure at the United States Department of Agriculture. And I thought he didn't do enough to help me with the Claims Remedy Act of 2010 that resolved many discrimination cases for black farmers against USDA. And I've had a few conversations with him as recently as this week. And I've been urging the secretary that he can't be the same agriculture secretary that he was under the Obama years. And he's going to have to take a much more aggressive approach to look at the culture of discrimination. Administrations come and administrations go, but career bureaucrats stay. And nobody's been fired for the act of the discrimination, of discriminating against black farmers. And I think some examples need to, some heads need to roll so that black farmers can begin to rebuild our trust in USDA. So I'm hopeful that he would do the right thing. And I also urged him to implement the debt relief swiftly and quickly as possible.
And here we have what's proven in history. White men filing suits against black farmers receiving money. And that's what they've been doing throughout history. They stole all the land from Indians. They stole the land from blacks. They supported sharecropping and slavery and all these awful Jim Crow laws. And now we're sitting here in the year 2021, where white farmers don't want black farmers to get a dime. And so far, Roland, we really haven't gotten any money. So they really put the cart before the horse yet. You know, the monies have not even been dispersed. And I've been urging the Agriculture Secretary to get those payments to black farmers, the debt relief, swiftly and quickly as possible. But as I speak to you, not a dime has went to black farmers and other farmers of color. And it shows the hatred, the bigotry that still exists in agriculture. You know, you're sitting there talking about discrimination. One of the most racist industries in the United States is the agriculture industry. Here we have an agriculture secretary of Texas where 8 out of 10 loans were denied to black farmers on average in this country, and he's filing suit against black farmers. So what kind of help is he offering black farmers in the state of Texas? Probably nothing. All of the money, just about 99% of $500 billion went to white farmers in the United States from taxpayer dollars. So here we have a mere $5 billion just scratching the surface, and they've gotten $500 billion with a T. And now they're sitting here talking about reverse discrimination. My question to Tim Scott is, how many times do white farmers get paid? They've gotten all of the money, all of the years, all of the decade, and all of the time. And we are the group that's been totally excluded based on all of the numbers, all of the statistics, from land loss to the lack of loans to the lack of presence at federal offices in the United States of America. These folks are lost, and they really need to check themselves and look into history. Look in the history of the United States of America, and it shows what I'm saying is factual here. Please look at our website, nationalblackfarmersassociation.org, and become a member. We need to be connected, and we need to share this information and knowledge and wisdom right now. And this is a very, very important time in history. You know, for the first time, we're actually going to get, hopefully, $5 billion, $1 billion to go to technical assistance and outreach to do some of the things that you're asking a question about. That hasn't been set up yet. So I believe in the coming months, maybe when I come back on road and I have more information on how these programs are going to be rolled out. But until then, we need support. The National Black Farmers Association needs the support of Black America to speak out and support us in this fight. We need the support from the Black community to speak up about this terrible injustice that continues against America's Black farmers. And we've lost the land. We've lost so much in this country. And we're going to fight back.
A group of Midwestern farmers last week sued over the COVID loan forgiveness program, arguing that it's unfair to them because they're white. Your reaction to that lawsuit, and do you stand by the program's structure?
It's a great question. I appreciate it. I think I have to take you back 20, 30 years when we know for a fact that socially disadvantaged producers were discriminated against by the United States Department of Agriculture. We know this. We have reimbursed people in the past for those acts of discrimination, but we've never absolutely dealt with the cumulative effect. And by cumulative effect, I mean this. When I have the full advantage of all the USDA programs, throughout the last 30 years, my operation could grow. I could invest in more land. I could get the latest and best technology. I could plant my crop at just the right time. I could make more money. If I had limited access or no access to USDA programs, obviously my operation significantly limited. So the American Rescue Plan's effort is to begin addressing the cumulative effect of that discrimination in terms of socially disadvantaged producers. Secondly, when you look at the COVID relief packages that had been passed and distributed by USDA prior to the American Rescue Plan, and you take a look at who disproportionately received the benefits of those COVID payments, it's pretty clear that white farmers did pretty well under that program because of the way it was structured. It's structured on size and structured on production.
A Brookline firefighter who was fired after complaining about a racist remark at work could soon be getting his job back. WBZ's Ana Rittis Rodriguez is live for us in Brookline tonight, where the community is now fighting for him, Ana Rittis, to get reinstated.
That's right, David. Last week, the state's Civil Service Commission ruled that the town of Brookline was not justified in firing firefighter Gerald Alston after he made that complaint and ordered he be reinstated.
Listened to it, and I was shocked.
Gerald Alston had been working as a Brookline firefighter for 8 years when he got a voicemail from his lieutenant that would change the course of his life.
He was saying how I shouldn't go to anybody.
He was then Lieutenant Paul Pender. Alston says in a message left on his phone, Pender used the N-word.
Because I was angry at that point, you know, and it wasn't like he said, I'm sorry. He just came up off the top with excuses.
The 50-year-old says when he filed a complaint in 2010, he was targeted and retaliated against. Pender was suspended for 48 hours and promoted to captain soon after his return. Alston says he was put on administrative leave and eventually fired.
In Brookline, if the fire department wants to fire somebody, if the fire department wants to promote somebody, the fire chief cannot do it by himself. He has to get permission and approval from the select board.
That was until last week, when a governor-appointed Civil Service Commission challenged the Brookline Select Board and ordered Alston to be reinstated, ruling the town actively promoted a false narrative of Alston, overlooked the retaliation, and chose not to impose meaningful discipline on Mr. Pender.
The commission basically found that from the beginning, this political body, the select board, was covering up what was happening to Gerald.
Now residents like Deborah Brown are fighting the town's potential appeal and are calling for Alston to be reinstated and receive 2 years of back pay.
And I can't believe that anyone who actually reads the opinion would say anything other than settle with the man.
The fate of 6 Miami firefighters fired for taking part in a racist and lewd prank at a fire station is in the hands of the city's firefighters union. And tonight, we're hearing from the firefighter who was victimized. CBS 4's Oralia Ortega is in the control room with more. Oralia?
Elia, the firefighter says he's received tons of support from the community, and he has even had people come up to him and apologize for his colleagues' actions. But he says an apology is something he has yet to get from the firefighters.
The victim's not just myself and my family, it's the people in the community who look like me and my family. Because if this is what they feel about me, who wears the same uniform that they wear, how do they truly feel about these people whose homes they're welcomed into at the time when they're most needing someone to care for them?
City of Miami Fire Department Lieutenant Robert Webster speaking out as 6 firefighters accused of drawing lewd images and leaving a noose draped over a family picture tried to get their jobs back.
It's been a resounding amount of support from the community. People coming up to the station just wanting to meet and apologize for what these guys have done, when at the same time, these individuals have not even apologized for what they've done.
The 6 City of Miami firefighters fired: William Bryson, David Rivera, Kevin Mesoso, Justin Rumbaugh, Alejandro Cese, and Harold Santana. In his letter of termination, City of Miami officials wrote to Captain Bryson, quote, "Members under your direct supervision defaced several personal photos of a fellow firefighter with graphic and obscene phallic renderings," end quote. The firefighters have filed grievances with the firefighters union to get their jobs back. Members of the Black Firefighters Association were present for a meeting that took place.
This is bigger than just our fire department. This is something that covers race, gender, religion, because the incident that occurred could have happened to anybody.
And this Alabama company
rescinded a job offer to a black woman because she had dreadlocks, or locks as I call them. And the 11th Circuit upheld the decision of the lower courts because the lower courts agreed that you can rescind the offer based on that. Now, the EEOC filed a complaint on the basis that they're using it as a guise to discriminate against black people. Now, legally under the law, with the Title VII, which they sued under, the employer cannot discriminate on the basis of race, sex, religion, national origin, those things. And also written into it is the fact that it protects immutable physical characteristics, meaning that if you can't change your skin complexion, you can't change your race, if you would. But with your hairstyle, those can be changed. That's the logic, and that's the reasoning behind the decision. Now, my take on it, I've been wearing locks for 12 years now, and there's a historical context with regards to it. And this law needs to be changed, or at least a court needs to interpret it differently, because when you are dealing with a group of people who have traditionally been oppressed in the country and have been racially discriminated against, and then you have this aspect of the law that's carved out that says, okay, well, it's hair, so it's a little different. Well, the hair is culturally tied to, this group of people. Though all of them do not wear it, but a large majority of the people who wear locks are black, So there's an aspect that needs to be considered with regards to that. I think with this particular law and this decision of the court, it still is allowing for discrimination to continue in the workplace, because any employer can now say, for the most part, oh, well, I didn't hire them because they had locks, when in actuality the case may be that they didn't hire them based on different biases and racism and prejudices that they may have against that particular person or group of people.
Men can also face inequities in the workplace as well, and for that reason, we are continuing our conversation on black hair discrimination. It's a topic that has been at the forefront of one Dart police officer's life story for the last couple of years after he was told his hairstyle was unprofessional.
You guys know my character, you know my heart. I felt that they shouldn't judge me based upon my appearance.
His dream was to protect and serve, a dream eventually put on hold.
To say that a black police officer with cornrows is unprofessional, what does that say about you and the way you view black people that wear cornrows? The conversation is needed, but it's hard to have those conversations, because to have those conversations, we have to admit that we have a problem.
That problem for Officer Dakari Davis started 6 years after he joined the law enforcement community while he was working as a Dart police officer in 2019.
I was upset, confused.
Davis says he never thought his appearance, specifically the way he wears his hair in this braided hairstyle, would interfere with his ability to do his job.
There was a particular lieutenant who disagreed with that, and he felt that it was unprofessional for male police officers to wear cornrows. And so he took it upon himself to contact the chief of police and eventually filed a formal complaint against my hairstyle.
Dart won't comment directly on this personnel matter, but documents obtained by WFAA show Davis was ordered not to wear the hairstyle while in full uniform. Months later, Davis wore the hairstyle again during an awards ceremony. His action sparked an internal affairs investigation in November. The findings of that report referred to his braided or cornrows hairstyle as, quote, unprofessional and unapproved.
I actually decided to cut my hair out of fear of retaliation. And I said, you know what, I have a son, I have a family, I have to provide for them. And I said, you know what, I'm just gonna cut my hair.
The complaint against Davis lists 5 allegations, including insubordination for disobeying a direct order from a supervisor and violation of the police department's dress code policy, all of which ultimately led to Davis being placed on paid administrative leave, a recommendation for termination, and a letter of reprimand.
I actually had a lot of support. My wife, my family, my friends, a couple co-workers.
Why are you having an issue with his hair?
Davis eventually reached out to Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price, who interceded on his behalf.
Has he been performing? And the only issue you see is as he's transitioning with his hair? That's unacceptable. And so they basically told me, said to cool my jets, and they'd handle it.
And they did. 7 months later, the letter of reprimand was rescinded in September of 2020 with this notice from DART COO Carol Wise. Davis was returned back to his full assignment as a motorcycle officer without restrictions. Now DART is taking another look at some of the same policies that led to this entire ordeal.
We are currently under a complete review of our appearance policy. And as you can imagine, you know, as times change, people have different desires, different looks. We understand that as you want to be able to, of course, work your job, but also you want to be able to have a little bit of yourself to be able to present yourself in a particular way.
Even as those changes are being discussed, Davis says it's important to recognize the underlying bias regarding hair in the workplace.
If you know me and I wear this uniform and I stand right beside you and do this job every day just like you, and you view me in that manner, what does that say about how you view someone that doesn't wear the uniform?
The royal family is speaking out after new allegations surrounding the palace's hiring processes have surfaced. A recent article from The Guardian claims that Buckingham Palace banned ethnic minorities from office jobs until at least the late 1960s, saying that newly discovered documents show that, quote, colored immigrants or foreigners were prevented from serving in clerical roles within the royal household. Now the palace is responding to the accusations, releasing a statement saying, quote, claims based on secondhand accounts of conversations from over 50 years ago should not be used to draw or infer conclusions about modern-day events or operations. The papers were discovered by The Guardian at the National Archives and reportedly reveal that in 1968, the Queen's chief financial manager told civil servants that, quote, it was not, in fact, the practice to appoint colored immigrants or foreigners to office roles, but they were allegedly permitted to work as domestic servants. The Crown responded to the allegations, claiming they adhere to their implemented principles, saying, quote, the royal household and the sovereign comply with the provisions of the Equality Act in principle and in practice. This is reflected in the diversity, inclusion, and dignity at work policies, procedures, and practices within the royal household. Any complaints that might be raised under the Act follow a formal process that provides a means of hearing and remedying any complaint. The new report is reigniting the debate surrounding the royal family and race. The documents were reportedly dug up as part of The Guardian's continued investigation into the royal family's use of the Queen's consent, a mechanism where the monarch grants permission to Parliament to debate a bill relevant to the Crown. The publication was looking into whether or not the Queen has used the power to influence British law. Buckingham Palace seemingly responded to that as well, saying, quote, the principles of Crown application and Crown consent are long established and widely known.
Hold him! Hold him! Let me see that. Now you come with the gun. Hold on. Don't let go! Don't let go! Everybody shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! This nigga just came through 100 miles an hour. Who got the gun? He just came through 100 miles an hour. He just came through 100 miles an hour. Smashed this car. He just came through 100 miles an hour. Smashed the car. He came through 100 miles an hour and he just killed her. He just fucking killed her. Block the car. He just fucking killed her. Hold him. Hold this nigga. He came through 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour. You going down, boy. You going down. It's over. You bitch. It's over. Shut the fuck up, nigga. You came through 100 miles an hour. Hey, hold on. Yeah, I'm Share this video now. Share this video. Tie that nigga up. Tie this nigga up.
I got him.
Tie him up.
I got him. Right here. He's here. That did it.
Share this video now. Tell them get the fuck here. She's fucking dead.
Stop.
Man, I'm gonna fuck this dude
If
up.
I want to, I can snap his neck right now.
What the fuck is wrong with you? He got him.
He came through. Nigga, did you see the whole shit?
Yes,
Where were you?
I was right here, bro.
I'm saying, bro, what the fuck?
I was right there, bro.
Nigga, I was here.
Bro, I was standing right by the coolers, bro.
Everyone out the way. Everyone out the way. The ambulance is coming.
She's dead, bro.
Lavish, you don't need to be live. Lavish, you get off live.
I'm not over here. Look at this. I know. He just fucking killed her. This is the car that he hit. Get up there. Go. 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 Nigga, go. 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 She's dead. Go. Go. You see how they raised the mace? Go. He's right there. He just fucking killed her! He just fucking killed her! He just killed her! He just killed her! He just killed her!
Call me the fucking
Oh, wait, should I get this? Can we call him a monkey?
I will kick you right in your fucking teeth. I will kick your face off.
No. You're a racist ass. Look, nobody wants a racist ass here. Nobody.
All right, and we back on the forecast. And luckily, the 6-year-old young brother, Coby Daniel, is all right. And the brother, Rocky Randolph Jr., survived. But at the end of the day, we have to start realizing that until we put our tribal differences aside and come to an understanding that protecting ourselves, especially protecting our children, is our number one priority. We can all agree on that. We don't want our children to be harmed, to be put in positions where they are powerless. We want our children to have the most prosperous future as possible because they understood it's easier to raise a child up as a slave than it is to make somebody a slave. But we have to start putting that mentality of self-love, self-pride into ourselves and then into our children, because we're never going to be able to protect ourselves, our children, anybody until we start coming together as a community, until we take responsibility ourselves, right? We build strong families so that we can build strong neighborhoods and strong communities and strong cities and strong states and a strong nation. And until we have a nation or an army that will protect us, then the same thing will keep happening. People will target easy targets. That's the way the world works. So don't ever let somebody make you feel guilty or make you feel bad about wanting freedom, about wanting to be able to protect yourself. We have to be able to protect our children, our elderly, our brothers and our sisters. We don't have any other choice. We are all we got. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, man, we have got to start standing for something, or we're going to keep falling for anything.